Welcome back. Today's episode, I'm going to make a completely useless cover for the old PTO for this transmission. So get comfortable, get something to drink. We've got a lot to cover. Okay, so I pulled this PTO out yesterday, and I don't have one of the factory covers, if you will. So that's going to give me a great opportunity to make this custom billet cover to plug that hole. Now, one thing I did do is I went and got a gasket here. I've already drawn this up in the computer, and it was kind of nice that when I got the gasket, I measured everything right. So I'm super happy about that. So I'm gonna bring you along, let you see exactly how I do this. I'm probably not gonna show you the programming side because that's super boring, but I'll try to show you as much of the machining as possible because since it's aluminum and I'm gonna have to run it with some coolant because I'm gonna be running it so fast, but I'm gonna try to slow it down enough so that you can see at least part of it, and I'll try to keep the window as clean as I can for as long as I can, etc. And I'll try to stop a couple times, but I'm going to show you the full process from me cutting the material on the saw, throwing it into the machine, running the program, and we'll see how it turns out from there. All right, let's get this cleaned up. I just machined something else, aluminum. So we'll get this set up, get the block of material in here, and we'll probe it, go ahead and find center, and then run our program. That may work. I'm splitting this between the two vices just so, because if I were to do it right here, it'd overhang on the side and give me a bunch of chatter. So I'm just really trying to kind of eliminate some of that chatter. All right, so I don't know if you can see this or not, but this parallel right here is loose. So I'm gonna try to give it a little love and basically make sure that I seat this so that it is well, that's interesting. It's not wanting to seat. Okay, now see you. All right, so basically this is going to help me hold that tight, and so when I machine this, it's hopefully not going to move too much. So let's pull our probe. And I'm gonna go ahead and find 0 from where I was on my other job. pretty close right there. And, all right. So here I'm basically using the probe system to find the center of this rectangle. So hope y'all can see this. I know it's a little blurry because of the coolant on the window, but basically all I'm doing here is I'm finding the exact center of the part. So all right, so all right, so let's rock and roll. I'm gonna try to slow it down as much as I can for you without hopefully affecting my surface condition. I still want it to look good. Once this gets toward the middle, you'll probably hear a little vibration. I'll kind of call it out. Well, you can't help but hear that. So I'll take a look at this once this finishes, just so I know it's something I can live with. And I think my depth of cut is only like 20 thou, so. All right, I got just a little bit of chatter right here, but I can live with that. All right, so if you can't see, basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna go ahead and pop the holes for how it mounts. And I think what I'll do is I'll open the door each time so y'all can have a clear option or a clear view of what it's, each step that it's doing. So this is the last hole. So those are all my holes right there. So now the fun part starts. So what I did was I did a quick drill to basically drill through the material, and then I'm using an end mill to bring it to size. So these are, I think, 1/2-inch bolts or 3/8 bolts, something like that. I can find out exactly, but I believe these are 1/2-inch holes. So I'm just opening them up so that the bolt will go in there, and I'm just using the same bolt hole size that's on the PTO now. And then once this gets done, it's going to go to the center and start helixing down. now it's basically, I put like a little recess in the material just to make it look good. And here's a prime example of kind of that harmonic. If you can hear this, then that's why it's kind of has that ring sound to it. But with this mic on my chest, it may be omitting a lot of this, but we'll see once I do editing on this. So another thing too, what I'm going to end up doing is once I rough past this, I actually come in and I redo this center cut again to make it even more smooth. I'll use the same end mill and run it a lot faster since I'm not running as much material. I'm not sure if y'all can tell this or not, but basically what that did was came in and put a nice chamfer on all the edges. And now it's about to run through like this. I can feel texture here. So I'm gonna run through here, run at a high speed so that it'll smooth that out really nice. And I do it with the coolant off, so hopefully I can clean this window enough to let you see. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better, and hopefully y'all can see that. So typically when I program something like this and I want a good finish, I'll do a rough cut and then I'll come back and do just what I'm doing. I'm probably taking off anywhere from 5 to 8 thou material. I don't remember what I programmed, so but this is going to give me a really nice finish. So. right, that looks pretty good. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but this is pretty nice. The surface finish is like very smooth. I could have done a different type of milling, but I did a circle mill because I kind of like it because it looks, you know, it's really shiny here and it's has just a texture. I know it looks like it's mainly circle here, but it goes all the way out. So yeah, I like that. So now I just need to turn it over and machine the excess. I used a thicker plate so that I can hold it, machine down the actual depth. So that's actually how thick that's going to be right there, which is like 3/4 of an inch. So I used a 1/2 inch plate. So let me get this set back up so I can do the next op. All right, so what's important here, I'm not sure if you can actually see this, but I need to have an air gap between the top of this jaw and the bottom of this material because I need to come down just below that lip and take off all of this excess. Now, the other thing is I'm gonna have to take a light cut because I don't need to clamp it really really hard because it'll actually taco that and then it won't give me a flat surface. So, so I'm gonna probe this real quick, go ahead and get the center of this because technically since I'm machined the inside, I have moved that work offset. So I'm gonna reprobe that and so tell it that, you know, this is the center again, and then we'll go from there. I know it's going to be hard for you to see through the camera, but I'm too far this way, so I need to bring it back to about right there, and I'm pretty centered, so should be able to do this. If I was doing a production run of these, or anything for that matter, this would be a completely different work offset, so I could keep the same work offset to do first op, and technically I would probably have another vise in here, and so I'd do op A on the left and then op B on the right, so I would never have to do this more than once. I'd set it up one time and go. But since I'm only doing one, I don't have to do that. But let's just say, for instance, if I was doing several, you know, I'd set up a fourth vise, I'd pull this out and then move everything over, tram everything in, do what I just did on this set, flip it over to here, do it on this set, and go from there. So originally I was going to do this with a 1/2 inch end mill to make it go really fast, but I decided to swap it back down to the 1/4 inch end mill because I won't be taking quite a large step over, and it'll help keep my pressures down since I don't have this very tight on in the vices, and I'm just trying to keep the distortion down. So by doing it this way, I'll keep it to where it'll stay relatively flat. So this little lip right here is basically a result of when you make a really thin, I mean this is like thinner than a piece of paper. When you're machining down to like the exact size like I was doing, it has a tendency for the end mill to not, so that will probably have like a little bit of a bow in it. So it has a tendency to start pushing the material down when it's not actually cutting, because it's not thick enough to actually cut and break the chip. So it's actually kind of forming it down. So, and when I tell you this is like razor sharp, it will cut you to the bone. Now, this is fairly smooth, but I'm going to run this again with no coolant, and I was already running it 210% faster than what the actual speeds and feeds for this end mill is. And I was doing that because I was taking such a light cut. And again, I'm just trying to keep my warp to a minimum. So now I'm going to try to clean this up and give me a really good finish. Alright, so obviously right now it's air cutting right now just because I didn't create a new program to do this. So this will run through there. It should give it a really nice finish and really flat and smooth. So, and on something like this, let's just say that the top that it's machined, or the bottom, this is technically the bottom, but where it's machining right now is not 100% parallel to the top. This, it really doesn't matter. This is just a custom piece that I'm making. Obviously, if this was some of the aerospace parts that we were doing, we would have to shim and measure this exactly to get the two surfaces parallel. But, and in all honesty too, this is probably parallel to a few tenths. So it'll be plenty accurate for what this is. All right, let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Let's give y'all a look and see what this looks like and get everything blown off of it. Alright, so this is what it looks like, and I showed y'all this before, and this is the back side. Now, I need to deburr these holes in this edge right here, but if I had a stop so this came to the right place and I was able to measure it, and technically after I did my first pass, I could have programmed the probe to come down and give me the angle and everything, and then I could have had the machine do it, but I'm doing one, so so yeah. And let me grab the gasket and let's kind of see what it looks like here. So this is the gasket, and apparently so this is for a 6 bolt, I guess, and this is an 8 bolt, but Look at that line up right there. And I drew that by hand. So the bolts all line up exactly. So what's crazy about this is these holes are 1/2 inch, and I went and checked the bolts while this was running, and the bolts are 3/8 or 7/16, one of the two. I don't remember now. Anyway, so there's plenty of room for this, so that's kind of crazy. But so yeah, that looks nice. I really like that a lot. So all right, guys, thanks for hanging there with me. I had an absolute blast in making this. I love doing this type of stuff. It's amazing that I didn't turn into like a diesel mechanic or something. I absolutely love big rigs. Huge fan of them. Love them. The crazy part about it is, I know this isn't like a square shape. It's unique. I really like that. And again, like, I'm not gonna sell, I may never sell one of these just because there's not gonna be a demand for this. I just wanna make it look cool and different because nobody else does. And I wanna do stuff that no one else has done. And just a little bit of a backstory. We used to hand make some cars 5 or 10 years ago. So the grand scheme of things, I could technically build this body, or I could build a square box type body out of the same thickness aluminum. We've done that. But and really, quite honestly, I could pull this cab off and put a different shaped cab on there if I wanted to. But I've kind of gotten to where I really like the shape of this. And if I wanted to do something like that, I'll buy like another rig, for instance, and do it to it. But you know, let's one project at a time. So again, like I said in some of my earlier videos, if you're a purist, I'm sorry, this is my truck build. I want to retro mod this. I want to make cool stuff like this for it, and just have something different out there. So, and yes, some of the stuff that I make is going to be totally pointless. No one will ever see this under the truck, and I'm okay with that. I'll know it's there. Y'all will know it's there because I videoed this. But thanks for hanging there. I will see y'all on the next video, and hopefully I can keep making some of this stuff, because to be honest, cleaning all this crap off the frame and stuff is not fun. I don't enjoy that at all. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy making this stuff. So, I did want to mention that I really thought about kind of engraving like the International Harvester logo on this. And I could still do it. It's really, the only time it's too late is after I've already bolted it up and put oil in it. So I still might do that. I don't know yet, but I thought that would be cool. Even if I just very lightly skimmed it with the end mill and did that, I think that would look cool. I thought about doing Eaton, but I could technically do whatever, you know, Eaton, Peterbilt, Mac, just all of them. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So again, thanks for hanging with me, listen to me rant about this, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.